typically that window of opportunity is 10 seconds. It comes from study in human cognition that the human brain loses interest when more than 10 seconds elapse before you get a response. Typically 1 second you can continuously work. You can hold on an answer for, I think it is 9.5 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that. This is a psychological study. That more than 10 seconds, then we start to look elsewhere and we look at the clock and we are like, okay, did someone send me a message or not, and things like that. So in 10 seconds, and typically what happens is you say, hey, how is China doing? Has China been growing? We put these measures in place. Did anything happen out of it? And then the guy says, can I get back to you next Monday? And then say, okay. And then next Monday he gets back to you with this PowerPoint presentation about what happened in China. And you're like, why did I want to know this? You know, what was I thinking at that time? This is typical about batch jobs. And HANA is getting rid of batch jobs everywhere. It is just destroying batch jobs and making everything interactive. And technically speaking, if we ignore the marketing and the hype, the point underneath is very straightforward. On the Westmere processor, which was the current or the previous generation Intel processor, we can do 2 billion scans per second per core. We can do 10 million aggregations per second per core. It doesn't matter what the data is, how much data there is. And if you need more, you add more CPUs. If you need more data, you add more memory. The processor memory locality enables us to predict in advance, given a question and given an amount of data, how long it is going to take to run this. No databases normally cannot do this because you don't have the complete control and predictability over the underlying infrastructure. This is essentially the point. So if you need something done within 10 seconds, it is just a calculation, how many CPU cores you need and how much memory you need. And if the value of a task is to execute that within a window of opportunity, then you just decide, because everything scales linearly and the price of the hardware is dropping exponentially, you can calculate today or tomorrow or 1 year from now or 18 months from now, how much are you going to need? This parallelism, this inherent parallelism and predictability over the underlying system gives us the ability to rethink every business activity. And because of the principle of non-disruption, it enables us to do this non-disruptively by attaching it first and then replacing these systems later and as you need it and so forth. So this is what is going on. And we have been making tremendous progress on this. Larry Ellison recently talked about a 0.5 terabyte limit on HANA. We don't know what he was thinking about when he said that. Even though I have made this 100 terabyte system publicly available, people can go and see it. Despite that, they made this statement, which was it's not right for industry leaders to make statements like that. Nevertheless, one thing that I'm going to announce tomorrow, and I would appreciate your not disclosing this. I saw earlier when I walked in, half of you are on Twitter. I'm going to announce tomorrow a petabyte benchmark. On this 100-node cluster, we ran 1 petabyte of data in main memory. I am certain for the first time ever in the history of the planet that somebody ran a petabyte of data. And in that benchmark, we also broke another order of magnitude that was a trillion, 10 to the power of 12. This petabyte benchmark has 1.2 trillion records. It is retail data from a company that does 380 million transactions per day for 10 years. And the incredible thing is that you can analyze this data. And here on the show floor somewhere, we are going to put this interface to this system that you can play with. And we ran 21 of the TPCH style benchmark queries on this thing. And the numbers are unbelievable. Quarter over quarter comparisons for 1 year of data takes like 400, 500 milliseconds. Quarter over quarter comparisons for 2 years of data take 1 second, things like that. You can analyze anything, old or new, anything by any dimension. There are only 2 out of the 21 queries that take more than 1 second. All the others are anywhere from 100 milliseconds to a second on a petabyte of data. And I'm going to put a phone number there, my office phone number, for Larry Ellison to call next time he has a question about the size of HANA. And The, but we also broke a new ground on the transactional behavior, and we got to 1 million inserts per second on HANA. We did just day before yesterday, this number came out on Saturday, 1 million inserts per second with full merging and logging to disk and so forth. 1.3 million if we disable the merging and still log the data. 1.3 million inserts per second and 1 million inserts per second. So this is not just an analytical database. This is an incredible transactional database. And as we think about batch jobs and eliminating batch jobs, and you look at the scale of Petabyte to 1 million inserts per second, and then you think about the platform question, and this is a no-brainer. Our platform has to be HANA. What else could there be? So our platform that I am very happy to, and I will talk about this more tomorrow, I will announce this tomorrow. We have taken HANA and transformed this from the database into the platform. And tomorrow we'll launch the HANA Cloud Platform, just the database to start with as a service, as well as the application services on top of it. Bjorn Gurka will talk about what used to be called NetWeaver Neo, which now becomes the application services on top of the HANA platform, on the HANA database part of the platform. And on the database part itself, of course, you can bring your own language and do whatever you want on that, run HANA as a database service. And as we go forward, we'll talk more about, in Madrid, at Sapphire and so forth, we'll talk more about what does that mean for the HANA platform, what can it do for developers. But one thing I can tell you for developers, we've been getting rid of batch jobs everywhere in the world, and development is the ultimate batch job. Us developers, we have to make things, build things, and we make files, and we do integration of builds, and then we test them, and we are swimming in batch jobs as developers. And why? If the MRP run can be an interactive process, if dunning can be done interactively, if the sales analytics on historic data can be done interactively, then why can't software development be done interactively? And we believe that with HANA, with the ability to search and scan source code on the fly as we build it, with the ability to do predictive queries on the results of our data models of our queries and so forth. If we write application logic with some database calls and we try out different possibilities around that, all of this should be interactive. And we can do that. And I will show some examples of this tomorrow. So the emergence of HANA as the platform, at the heart of the platform for the future, including the traditional legacy application development capabilities, as well as the new application development capabilities, or the outside, third party, bring your own language application development capabilities, all on the HANA database foundation. This is the essence of our platform. And it is not just something that I am announcing tomorrow. This is something that is going on quite extensively in the community. Startups are doing this. I will announce tomorrow that, can I say this, Ayaz, or no? These are architects, man. They promised not to tweet this. You did, right? You promised not to tweet, right? We have 100 startups building applications on HANA. Tomorrow, we'll say that this number crossed 100. We had 10 in Orlando, remember? This number is now 103 as of yesterday. So we crossed, everybody who said, oh, HANA is only for SAP data and for things like COPA acceleration and so forth. This is one of the startups that I found out about. You know what they are doing on HANA? There are billions of stars in the universe, right? And there is this space mission called Gaia that will go out next year, and they are like charting the maps. There is already an incredible amount of information on stars that is available. These guys are mapping stars on HANA. And I said, what could possibly be so interesting that why would you need HANA for this? And you know what they are doing? What happens is when you look at a 3D display of a star cluster, the eye sees certain things based on where you are and what perspective you have onto the universe. And only certain stars become visible, depending on the time of day or the angle that you look at, and so on. So to figure out of the billions of stars, which ones to display into your 3D visual field is an unbelievably complex calculation that used to be something that you would rent a NASA supercomputer for. Just to see, I twist the universe a little and I want to see what stars there are. Now, out of the billion of stars, you have to display the 300 that are now visible to you from that particular point of view, and you zoom in and you say, which one is that? Oh, this is Betelgeuse, or this is Alpha Centauri, or whatever. These guys are doing on HANA. So my God, there are people doing elderly care, there are people doing genome sequencing and interpretation, unbelievable things. But that is what happens when you build an incredible, purposeful platform that empowers everybody to chase after their imagination. And our main point is that as architects, we have to have the knowledge, imagination, and the conviction necessary to advance the world into the future. And I think when we put our minds together and we say we have to empower end users so that they can unleash their imagination, we have to do this non-disruptively, otherwise we are further complicating already complicated landscapes. We need to evolve them non-disruptively into this world. And we have to do this on the basis of a platform that really allows us, enables us to do things in real time, to do things within the window of our opportunity, within the window of our task. And when you do those three things, you realize that the only limiting factor is our imagination. Good news is that that is under our control, right? Thank you very much.